Yay, Chase.
I'm from Berkeley, California. And I grew up in the shadow, almost literally, of the University of California. I then did my undergraduate at UCLA, where I got a BA in American Literature. And now I'm here. I'm back in the UC system, getting my doctoral degree here in our literature department. And I'm here to prepare to get my training to be a thinker and an educator. And I have everything at stake, not just in the classes that I can take as a PhD student, not just in the advisors I can have in my department and the other departments, but also in who shows up in my classes. And I guess I should rephrase that, because really the question is, who can show up in my classes? And since I've been part of the UC system for all of these years, almost 8.5 years total, I've seen increasingly the case that our university is at the beck and call of the highest corporate bidder, which means increased fees and decreased access for historically underrepresented and low-income students. So I ask again, who can show up in my classroom? Students with higher privilege and income, which creates a university that does not reflect the beautiful diversity of our state of California. And I also ask, what classes can I teach here? I've been a TA in the Critical Gender Studies program, and which, among other programs, ethnic studies, Chicano studies, African American studies, as you know, is very vulnerable to being cut out of our university. Which means that unfortunately, if that happens, we'll see an increase in the racist and misogynist kinds of events and situations that we've had in the last couple of weeks. And as you know, if you've ever taken an ethnic studies class or critical gender studies class or other classes like that, that those are the spaces where you start to think critically about how power is produced, how power is maintained, how gender, sexual, class, race hierarchies exist, and how they can be challenged, right? And that's what we're doing here today. We're putting that into action. And as long as we're thinking about what our university can look like, why don't we be so bold as to imagine a public university to be a place where the number of senior administrators doesn't nearly equal the number of faculty? Where public education means education funded by and for the public, not by and for corporations. Why don't we be so bold as to imagine that a public university has a corporate, the only way that we see corporations at work here is in the corporate reality of our beautiful, diverse student body. That education is not just for the people who show the money, but for the people who show up, like today, like all of you here today.
So if you ask them if you can unplug it for a second, the thick one is covering up the other spot.
And Mark Eloff wants us to believe that the state budget crisis is the real cause of the blame here. But clearly, it's not that simple. Clearly, we have to be so bold as to ask who is profiting from this crisis and whose access to public education is plummeting. And finally, I'm going to wrap it up because we're running out of time here. I want to ask you all, can we be so bold as to remind our administrators about the 1960 master plan that defines education as a public good and not a commodity to be bought and sold on the market? And to all of those rhetorical questions, you know, I'm training to be an educator, so I ask a lot of those rhetorical questions. Can we be so bold to make this change? And to that I say, yes, we can. And I thought it would be productive in imagining this positive change that we're creating today to reclaim what UC means for us, what it stands for, what it represents. So I want you to join me in answering that question that yes, we can, with UC se puede. UC se puede. UC se puede. UC se puede.